Happy Monday, 4th and 5th graders. We are starting a new week of learning, and I'm super, super excited because, we learned so many new topics in math, and a lot of times you guys have asked me, all right, Ms. Cantrell, well, why am I learning this? Why am I going to need to know this in the future? Well, let's talk a little bit about decimals. We have been in this chapter for quite a while because there are so many different math ideas that go along with decimals that it's important that you know all of them and that you learn all of them for middle school. But what I want you guys to hear is that you're going to be seeing decimals for the rest of your life, particularly when it comes to money. For example, I was at Home Depot earlier and I was trying to find a set of blinds, okay? Because Jake, he was trying to get into the window and he broke some of our blinds. So I was trying to get some blinds. Well, I got to Home Depot and there were two sets of blinds that they had on clearance, and they were a fancier blind, so they were a little bit more expensive. And I was trying to figure out how much money it was going to cost to get two sets of this blind. Well, the blinds that I saw on clearance were $57.63. Now, this is a true story. This happened just a couple hours ago. And there were two sets of them on clearance. And so I know that what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take my original price of one and I'm going to multiply it by 2 because I have two sets. Remember, when I'm multiplying with decimals, I am just going to bring this here, bring my decimal down here before I forget. So this is what I had to do in my head. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 7 times 2 is 14. Add your 1, 15. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 1. So, how much money was it going to cost me to get both sets of blinds? Yeah, it was going to cost me $115.26. Now, I didn't end up getting them because they were still a little bit pricier than I wanted. I didn't want to spend over $100. But guys, this is a real world example of how I used decimals today. So this is very, very important for you guys to know how to do it and what to do. So let's go ahead and open up our textbook page to page 89. We're on lesson 9.7, Real World Problems. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, I am thinking we're going to be working on real world decimals today and tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, we're going to have a little review day. Thursday, we're going to have our test, okay? And I'm going to upload that to Seesaw, and you'll take it on there, or I'll send it in an email and you can print it off and just scan it back to me. And then I'm thinking on Friday, we can just do like a fun Friday math kind of thing where you're not going to have a regular lesson from me, but it's going to be more of a reward Fun Friday. So you'll see what that looks like. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. So let's go ahead and get started so that we can meet our goal for this week. So we are on, and I'll tell you, our next chapter is percents, okay, which is also very important. Like when you go to the store and you see, it's 30% off, it's 20% off, you can help mom and dad calculate how much money it's going to be. So that's what's next. All right, real world problems and decimals. Let's read this together. 9 nickels are placed in a row touching one another. Each coin measures 2.12 or 2 12/100ths of a centimeter across. What is the total length of the row of coins? Well, if each nickel is 2 12/100ths of a centimeter and you have 9 of them, what are you going to have to do to figure out the total length of the row of coins? This kind of looks like the bar models that we've done previously this year, guys, except instead of a bar, it's just a line of nickels. So you can see here that what you're going to need to do is take your 9 from your 9 nickels and you're going to multiply it by your 2 12/100ths because that's how much each is. And then you end up getting 19 and 8/100. So the total length of the row of coins is 19.08 centimeters. Okay, now this little girl says estimate 9 times 2.12 to check if your answer is reasonable, like we've done in the past chapters. Okay, she says 2.12, if I'm going to round it to the nearest whole, is closer to 2 than 3, right? Because I look at my 1 in my tenths place, and that's 4 or less, so I leave it alone. And then 9 times 2, I know, is 18. So 19.08 centimeters seems like a good, reasonable answer. And then you can check if your answer is accurate by working backward. Divide 19.08 by 9, and what answer would you get? He says you should get 2.12. It's important that you guys learn strategies for how to check your work after you solve a problem to make sure it's right. So let's go ahead and turn our textbook to page 90. It's going to say guided learning up at the top. There's going to be directions. It just says solve. We're going to look at number 1 together. It starts out with the mass of a $50 is about. Okay, so pause until you get to that. Okay, good job. So let's go ahead and read number 1 together. The mass of a $50 is about 11.34 grams. Find the total mass of 8 $50. Okay, so this is the amount of weight of one $50, and I need the weight of 8 of them. So what am I going to multiply, Kristen? Excellent. I'm going to multiply it by 8, and I'll get rid of my units here so it doesn't confuse you. But when I write my answer, I'm going to make sure to put my units there. Yeah, I'm multiplying it by 8 because it says I have 8 $50. So here we go. 8 times 4 is 32. Okay. 8 times 3 is 24 plus your 3, 25, 26, 27. Boop. Bring down my decimal so I don't forget. 8 times 1 is 8. Plus 2, Narai, is what? Excellent, 10. Carry my 1. Jonah, 8 times 1 is? Perfect. Plus 1 is? Good. 9. So the total mass of the coins is 90 and 72/100 of a gram, okay, or grams, I could say. So you can see here that I took the amount of one coin, how much it weighed, and I multiplied it. I guess we're not, yeah, coins, $50. And then I multiplied it by how many $50 I had. Okay, let's take a look underneath that problem where it says learn. Solve 2-step real-world problems using models. I'm going to show you the page, but have your textbook open too, please, okay? So it says, a piece of metal is 6.54 yards long, and it's cut into 2 pieces. So here's piece 1 and piece 2. That's how I would have labeled it, okay? One piece, so this is piece 1. Think about it as one piece, okay? Or piece 1. Is split into 2 pieces, okay? Because it says one piece is twice as long as the other. So you got to split it in 2 so that it's twice as long as this one. What is the length of the longer piece? Give your answer correct to the nearest 1/10 of a yard. So you're going to round at the end. Okay, so I know that the total of these 2 pieces is 6.54 yards. Now I've got to figure out how much the longer piece is. Well, I'm going to take my 6.54 and I'm going to divide it by how many? How many pieces do I have that I have to figure out the length of? Yeah, I have 3. I have 3 units. I have 3 different pieces of wood because I cut this one in half. It's twice as long. So I need to go ahead and take my 6.54 and I'm going to divide it by 3, my 3 pieces of metal. And when you divide those, you're going to get 2.18 yard. So that shows us It doesn't say how much is one piece. If they said that, it would just be this, right? But it says, what is the length of the longer piece? So now you need to either add 2.18 plus 2.18 or do 2.18 times 2, which is what they did here. And you're going to get 4 36 of a yard. But then you have to round it. So you've got 4 36 and that rounds to the nearest tenth. So look at your 6. Is that 5 or more? Yep. So raise the score so that 3 becomes a 4, which is how they got this. Okay. So 4.4 or 4 4/10 would be your answer here for this problem. Okay. We're going to try a couple. Now, some of these problems that we see today, guys, are going to be two-step problems. Just some of them, not all of them, okay? And we're going to break up the independent work so it's not too much for you today and tomorrow. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at our student book, page 91, and it's going to look just like this, okay? That's page 91. Let's look at the top problem that's by that blue bar, okay? Here we go. Let's read it together. A row of 7 boxes of spaghetti is 24 64 centimeters wide. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw a bar, and I want you guys to do this along with me on your whiteboard. You can pause me if I go fast, okay? Now, I have 7 boxes of spaghetti. So I'm going to make my 7 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And I know that the total length of all of my boxes is 24 64 centimeters. Okay, does everybody see that so far? All right, now it says, find the width of 9 boxes, round your answer to the nearest 10. All right, so basically the width is this part, right? But look, since this is a square, you know that a square is equal on all 4 sides. So if you find this side, are you going to know this side, the width? Yeah, you are. So let's just find what one of these units is worth, okay? So I'm going to need to take my 24 64 and am I going to multiply or divide, Evan? I'm going to divide because I just need to find 1. I already know my total, so I don't need to multiply. And I'm going to divide it by how much, Nurai? Good. I'm going to divide it by 7 because I have 7 boxes of spaghetti. Now I'm going to take my decimal and put it right up top. 7 times what gets me close to 24? Good. 3. And I'm going to subtract my 21 here. Remember, don't carry your decimal down. You just put it up top. 4 minus 1 is 3. That's 0. Carry down my 6. Now, 7 times what is going to get me close to 36? What do we think? Go ahead and write it on your board. I'm giving you a little thinking time. Okay. All right, let's just do 5. 7 times 5 is 35. There's a 1. And lastly, I'm going to carry down my 4. And I can know pretty quickly that 7 times 2 is 14. So the width of one box is 3.52, and it didn't tell me to round anything. Oh, yes, it did. Round your answer to the nearest 1/10 of a centimeter. Okay, that's easy. So let's go ahead. Here's my tenths. So I'm going to look at my hundredths. Is that 4 or less? Yep, so I'm going to let it rest. So my answer would just become 3.5. And you could put a 0 there if you wanted to. Okay? All right. Now let's take a quick look. Okay, so underneath it says 9 times 3.52 equals 31 and 68 hundredths. 31 and 68 hundredths is 31 and 7 when rounded to the nearest tenth. Okay, I see what happened here. Okay, all right, so we're not quite done yet. This is the length of 1, so I need to find all 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so now what am I gonna need to do? This is a 2-stepper. So I'm not gonna round it yet. Sorry, guys. All right, I'm gonna take my 3.52 and I'm gonna multiply it by what? Yep, I'm gonna multiply it by 7, okay? Because that's how many I have. 7 times 2 is 14. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 1, 36. 7 times 3, 21, 22, 23. You guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Divided by 7 times 7, 9. Okay, the width of, okay, you guys, I'm losing it. All right, we got to add on, sorry, let me go back. Boop, boop, boop. Let's pretend that we just found this, okay? All right, now it says, this is why we're doing this one together. Now it says, find the width of 9 boxes. I only have 7 here, so I need to add on 8, 9. So really, I need to do 3.52 times 9 instead of by 7, which is what I was just trying to do. Sorry about that. Okay, 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 5 is 45 plus 1, 46. Bring down my decimal. 9 times 3 is 27. 28, 29, 30, 31. So we end up with 31 and 68 hundredths. And now I need to round it to the nearest 10. So I'm going to look at my 8. Is that 5 or more? Yep, raise the score. So this is going to become 31 and 7 tenths. Okay, so that would be your answer for this one. Let's go ahead and let's look at number 2 together about Heather. Heather saved, so I'm going to write her name. Heather saved $12.15. Okay. We have Zach. I'm just going to put a Z for Zach. Okay. And you know what? Let's just do this so that we have more room on our board. H for Heather. Zach saved 3 times as much as Heather. So his bar is going to be bigger and he needs 3 of these because he saved 3 times as much. Serena, here she is, saved $24.50 more than Zach. All right, I'm going to have to scoot this over just a little bit and make it smaller for you guys. So Heather, we've got $12.15. We have Zach, who saved 3 times as much as Heather. And then we have Serena, which saved even more than Zach. Okay, and we know that she saved $24.50. All right, so then it says, how much money did Serena save? Okay, so the first thing that I need to do is what? Whose amount do I need to figure out? I already know Heather's. Should I figure out Zach's or Serena's first, guys? Good, I'm gonna go for Zach's. okay? Because I know that he saved 3 times as much as Heather. So I'm going to take my $12.15 and I'm going to multiply it by 3 because he has 3 different sections there and he saved 3 times as much. Okay, so I'm going to multiply that. Go ahead and do this on your board, guys. And then come back and check your work here. Okay. So we know that Zach saved $36.45, right? Now we need to figure out how much Serena saved. So basically, guys, I know that because this amount is equal to this amount here, I know that this equals $36.45, and I know that she saved this much more than. So I'm going to add how much Zach had to how much more Serena has that it told us in the problem. So I'm going to line them up like this. And I'm going to add them. And I'm going to get $60.95. So the answer to our problem here would be Serena saved $60.95. Okay, what I want you to do today, I would like for you to try page 92 in your textbook on your own. Do it on your whiteboard or a piece of paper. Go ahead and pause the video. All right, here are your answers for page 92. If you need help with this, please let me know and I'll do a one-on-one with you to go over some of these word problems if you're stuck. But we are going to be working on word problems with decimals again tomorrow. So don't worry about it. And guys, if you still feel like you're not understanding it, then we can just continue to kind of stretch it out and maybe we'll move our test to Friday, okay? All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow for more math. Great job today.